So now we're going to continue with our panel discussion on how to spice up your PhD studies with an international flavor, with different testimonies from students and researchers, and also a presentation of the possibilities of exchanges within the European Alliance Invest. I will give the floor to Nina Bogataya, doctoral school coordinator at the university, and she will share the panel discussion. So please come forward. Thank you, Nina. And you have your name, so please.
Thank you, Hélène. I'm honored to be able to conduct this panel discussion today. And before, I would like to start with some data about the mobility in the master's, doctoral, and postdoctoral level. Europe will have 31.5 million students in 2020, making it the third in terms of student population behind Asia or Oceania, 120 million, and the American continent, 45 million. It is also the continent with the highest proportion of higher education graduates in its population, 46%. The mobility of students in Europe takes the form of exchange mobility, particularly through Erasmus Plus program. In 2021, more than 280,000 people will have gone on an exchange mobility program via Erasmus Plus, including 252,000 students and 1,300 staff on higher education institutions. In 2021, France, once again, became the leading country for students and staff on the Erasmus Plus, with almost 39,000 schemes. Created in 2004, Erasmus Mundus is an extension of the program opening up mobility to students from and to a large number of European countries at master's level. As for student mobility at doctoral level, in 2020, almost 500,000 students worldwide were on an international mobility scheme to study for a doctorate, representing almost 8% of the world's mobility for this purpose, obtaining a degree mobility worldwide. The average increase in the number of doctoral students' mobility between 2016 and 2020 is 31%, compared with 21% for all levels combined. Speaking as a researcher mobility in France, for example, 7.2% of researchers were mobile between 2006 and 2016. The main outgoing mobility flows for French, measured by publications, are with the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, Switzerland. Over the same period, around 6.2% of researchers were on the mobility program to Italy and Spain. 34% of postdoctoral researchers classified as R3, R4 have spent at least 3 months abroad during the last 5 years in the last 10 years of their postdoctoral career. For more information about this data, I invite you to consult the website of Campus France, the website of OECD, and also the website of the UNESCO. So it's so hard to imagine this kind of mobility 25 years ago. Despite all this, but today we have different tools for doing our mobility. For example, alliances, networking, co-tutels, co-directions, also seminars, symposium, and travel grants. But despite all these tools, mobility at master's degree, doctoral level, postdoctoral level, raises different questions about the integration in other countries, about the language barriers. But today we have 4 guests, 4 testimonies, rich testimonies. And I will get him the floor, but before I would like to introduce them to you. So I will start by Essaïd Barka. He is the Vice President of the University of Champagne-Ardenne. Also, we have Maria Lucia Fresotti. I don't know, you can see Maria Lucia?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Maria Luci Frezzotti, she is a professor of petrology at the Department of Environmental and Earth Sciences. She is also the dean of the doctoral school at the University of Milano Bicocca in Italy, representing one of Invest Alliance. Julian Restrepo Real, doctoral student at the University of Reims, Champagne-Ardenne. He did his European master's degree in plant health in sustainable cropping system in 2021. It's right? Angelique Ra, junior chair holder at REBP Research Unit at the University of Reims, Champagne-Ardenne. From 2021 until 2023, Angelique was postdoctoral researcher in the Belgerson Laboratory at Harvard University. She did her doctorate in biology at the Ghent University of Belgium as a part of the micrometabolite project funded by Marie Skłodowska-Curie grant. Also, during this project, Angelique spent 1 month at Hellenic Agriculture Organization in Greece, 1 month at the Aristotle University, Thessalonica, Greece, 2 months at the University Catholique de Louvain, Belgium, 3 weeks at the Institut Schnega, Germany. And she took part in the European Research Council and carried out several work missions in partner countries. So your list is very long, Angelique. And we have another guest, Aditya Ravindran Totatil, doctoral student at the Gros Paris, which is a leading engineering school specializing in agronomy and life sciences in Paris. He obtained his master's degree at BioSeb at URCA. Thank you very much for being with us today. And I will start by you, Julian, and I would like I will start with my question about your career before your doctorate. Can you tell us about your master's degree?
Yes. So I did a master's degree, which is called Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Degree in Plant Health, to specialize in crop protection. And during this master's degree, I did my first year in the Polytechnic University of Valencia in Spain. And during my second year, I did studies in the University of Göttingen in Germany. So yes, it was a really nice opportunity to know 2 different and contrasted countries, plus that I come from Colombia, so it's also very different to the European culture.
What is different about your master's degree when you speak about your culture in Colombia?
Sorry?
What is difficult? Did you have some difficulties when you started your master's degree in France?
My master's degrees?
Yeah.
So, well, in Spain it was relatively easy because I talk Spanish. It's my native language. Although the master all the classes was in English. So at the beginning, I didn't have a good level in English. So it was, of course, a bit struggling to understand all the teachers were saying in English, and of course to communicate with my colleagues, which were all around the world. It was even harder in Germany, because now my basic language is not the Spanish, it's German, which is much more difficult for me. But at that moment, I think my English skills improved after my first year of master, so my master's degree at the end was really good, really fine.
Oh, very good. And why did you choose to do your PhD in France, particularly at URCA?
So during my master's degree, I performed an internship in grapevine protection. I'm an agricultural engineer. And so at that moment, I got really interested in all the grapevine topics. Then I saw that the URCA offered positions for the grapevine studies, for the vineyard protection, and knowing that the URCA is in the Champagne region, which is one of the most important regions for the grapevine production, well known around the world, I said to myself that if I really wanted to continue with this grapevine topic, one of the best places to do research in grapevine will be in Champagne and then in URCA. So that was my main motivation to apply, and unfortunately, I got the position here.
Okay, thank you. And what difficulties did you encounter when you starting your PhD in France, and how did you overcome the difficulties of adapting once you arrived in your laboratory in France?
Okay, so again, the main difficulty for me was the language barrier. When I arrived in France, I didn't speak French at all. So it was everything become more difficult. For example, all the administrative process, which are per se hard to are complicate, and even in a language that I didn't understand. So, and also something difficult is the daily and small things in the life. For example, going to the supermarket, and if I wanted to find a particular product, how I ask to the supermarket workers that I need this product if I don't know how to say or how to find the right place to find it. So it was hard at the beginning, and also for the social interaction outside the work. Because yes, in the laboratory, your colleagues, your supervisor, they will understand English, but outside the laboratory, people may not speak English here. So it's also limiting to socialize outside the lab. So how I overcome this? Well, learning the French. So I took online courses that I complemented with the presential French classes offered by the URCAM. And it was also very helpful for me, the help from the International Relations Office with all the administrative process, the different steps that I had to follow once I arrived. And after that, and after learning some of French, my staying here has been much easier and better.
So very good, thank you. Can you name any advantages that the international mobility offers to a PhD students, because we have many students in our audience?
Yes, so the first advantage is improving the language, mainly English, because, well, science is done in English, but also you will have the opportunity to know a new language. For example, in my case, it was the French. And another advantage is the opportunity to increase your global network contact. This is important because if you have a wider global network contact, then you will increase the opportunity, the chance to perform research around the world, to participate in projects around the world. For example, we just saw the presentation about climate change, and for that, it will be very important to have different contacts around the world to present these kinds of nice results. So that's why international PhD offer you this kind of opportunity.
Yes, because the research is more and more internalized nowadays, and that's why it's offered to us the possibility to meet the colleagues and to share their results. And would you give any advice to PhDs, to future PhD students wishing to do research or stay abroad?
Yes, so my advice is that don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and to explore new environments. I know that the thought of being in a country when you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you know nobody, can be overwhelming. However, with patience, with a good attitude of always being willing to learn, can be helpful to enjoy this kind of international mobilities. So at the beginning, may be difficult to adapt, but over time, you will be really grateful with yourself of having taken this decision of moving abroad.
Now you can move in all countries in the world, yeah, without any problems. And yes, about the language barrier, I heard so many times when people say, I don't speak so good English, they don't speak so good French. No matter, the language is a tool for communication. It's the main idea when you speak about the language barrier. So, thank you very much, Juliana, and now I'll pass to you, Aditya. Thank you very much for being to us today. What master's degree did you obtain, and why did you decide to do it abroad?
In my case, I did a European Masters in Biological and Chemical Engineering for Sustainable Bioeconomy, or in short, BioSeb, and which included different semesters in URCA, in Taltech, in Estonia, and then ULiège in Belgium. So I was able to go to many different places. And in the meantime, the reason for why I chose that specific master's was very much related to the fact that my background is in chemical engineering. But in general, when you focus on chemical engineering studies, your interest become more about chemical processes and such. And it was contributing to my job scope, and my knowledge was more focused on the fossil fuel industry. And I did not like that as a concept, and I wanted to explore into more sustainable bio-based applications and solutions. And I found this particular master's with time, and yeah, it was a good choice.
What have you gained from this master's mobility experience?
So just like how Julian said, there are so many different things that you gain in terms of personal growth as well as professional growth. Just from the masters, I was able to interact with so many different researchers from so many different fields, so many ways of thinking about the same problem. For example, my focus is right now in my PhD as well is about biomass fractionation, which means to break down biomass into different fractions. Even for that, you can learn about many different approaches that are taken by different teams. And these kind of little addition to your knowledge and experience will definitely grow you as a person. So yeah.
Thank you. What difficulties did you encounter when starting your PhD in France, and how did you overcome the difficulties of adapting?
So one of the major difficulties, just like in the case of Julian, was the language. For this, I do have to say that certain phrases are enough to survive for a few months at least in France. Like for example, for the first 6 months, I survived with just the phrase "je voudrais." I just added whatever thing I wanted at the end of that phrase, and that I managed to survive on that. But then if you want to make friends and such, it is necessary sometimes to go out of your comfort zone and start talking to people and to try to interact with them, and hoping that, oh, this one step might be enough to start things off. And it has helped. And I was also lucky in some manner because of my international masters, I had a lot of different firms from a lot of different places, and some of them ended up in the same city as me. And so they also helped with the bureaucratic nightmare that is usually attributed to the French bureaucracy. So, yes.
French bureaucracy, thank you. Have you already been involved in international mobility during your doctoral studies? And if not, are you considering mobility soon?
Until now, not so much, because I just completed my first year of my PhD, and I still have a long way to go. But then it is something that we are considering right now, because one of the other aspects of international mobility for a PhD is the fact that your team might not be focused on one. Your team might be focused on one specific research goal, but whatever output that you get can be applicable to many different things. So if your team is focused on a process, the outputs can be utilized in so many different ways. And for that, another team might be much more knowledgeable, and there might be much more research in that field. So in that regard, it is something that I'm considering, yes.
The same question. In your opinion, what are the advantages of international mobility for masters and PhD students?
So the first and foremost is the personal growth that you can achieve from it. You will realize all the different problems that you can have in terms of dealing with different people, dealing with different kind of systems in terms of bureaucracy, healthcare, any of it. It is all going to be an issue for you, And once you start to deal with it more and more, you kind of realize some of these problems, even though it can feel like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world, is still doable. And in terms of building a scientific network, it is another aspect of it, that you grow as a person and you learn more about the people's work, and you can contact them and ask for help, or you can try to get a different insight into different problems, different topics. And then you also manage to enjoy the culture of the different places. Like, I didn't realize how much I love cheese until I reached France, for example, coming from India. So these kind of important aspects of life you will realize with an international experience. So yeah.
Thank you. What advice would you like to give to our PhD students and to master's degree students wishing to do abroad mobility but they are hesitate?
So if you are hesitating, you have a lot of reasons to hesitate, but it is something that is very common in life. You don't really realize the impact of certain actions in your life until you take it, or like when you look back at it. And as a person who was doing his bachelor's in India, like in the middle of pandemic as well, the way forward was not the same as how my life turned out to be because of my choices in the master's that I chose and the PhD that I chose. And all these will significantly affect your life for the better and hopefully not for the worst. And yeah, so go for it is the key advice that I would give from my experiences.
Thank you very much, Aditya. Angelique, I pass to you.
Hi.
Hi. You have a very long list about your mobility worldwide. Oh, in Europe, United States also? No? Okay. So can you tell please to us about your experience in PhD and after in your postdoctoral studies about your mobility?
Okay. So I did my PhD, as mentioned by Nina, in a Marie Curie doctoral network. So for the one who doesn't know, it's a very big program in Europe, the Marie Curie programs. And the doctoral network are a consortium of universities, institutes, companies who work on the same research question, but with everyone having PhD student working on specific project. So it's very interesting because it's international collaborations. So in my part, I was based in the Flemish part of Belgium, and I was collaborating with Austria, Greece, Germany. So that was very nice. And not only on the collaborative part, but also in Marie Curie doctoral network, usually you have placement to do abroad. So I could work in companies, in institutes, in other countries. So either for working on collaborative experiments, so I went to Thessaloniki for extracting metabolite from my samples, for example, or sometimes it's just for you to gain new skills. So I also work, for example, in a company that was working on microbial and chemical analysis of food products. Absolutely nothing to do with my PhD on plant microbes interactions, but you gain new skills that are valuable after that. So that was like, yeah, a great experience, and I would recommend everyone to look for this kind of offers because it's very regularly that there is PhD offers on this kind of programs. And after for my postdoc, I just kept going internationally, and I applied for a collaborative project again in ERC, which is another big European program at the University of New York. In the United States, of course. And again, it was like with collaboration with France and Germany. So our colleague from France and Germany came to the US to collect plants in Michigan. That's very instructive to live in another country.
Thank you. It's so interesting. It's so rich for you about your experiences. And what was the difficulties in all this moving in between countries, between methodologies? In the laboratories?
Well, I didn't feel really difficulties on my part, but I already had the opportunity to do also some part of my studies in other countries, so I used to have this first feeling of, oh, you have to adjust to the new condition. Of course, as say Julian and Aditya, everything administrative is always complicated at the beginning. New bank accounts, finding an apartment, even for your phone or your Wi-Fi, all of this represents some difficulties. But as a European moving inside Europe in my PhD, it was okay, and I had support from my university. So in terms of language, I was probably worse than you in English at that time. I used to speak German and not English, so to give an idea, I think some of you knows when you are like English LV2, you are not great. So I was not great at all, but you really improve fast when you are living in another countries, and especially in Flanders, my friends were like they are very good in English. So they were correcting me many times, especially on the H. We say hair conditioner and not an air conditioning. It's not the same thing. So you learn it on the hard way, but yeah, it was fine. Everything was friendly.
And what about the advantages of international mobility in PhD and postdoctoral research?
I think, like my colleague there, it's opened your mind a lot, not only on culture, because of course you are interacting with other people, but also on scientific approaches. Everyone sees science in a different way. It can sound crazy, but when I was in Belgium, just for basic calculation, I realized that my Belgian colleagues were not having the same starting approach on calculations that I had. Belgium is very close, so you learn these kind of new things. Communication, of course, English level, but also on culture and personality. You realize quite fast that you have to adjust to who you are speaking. My Ecuadorian friends was absolutely not getting sarcasms, so I had to stop. Or like when you are collaborating, you know that everyone should understand the same thing. It seems obvious, but like one sentence written, you think that it's very clear, but because you are a biologist and he is a chemist, he will not see the problematic in the same way. So you improve also your communication. And finally, I would say the self-confidence that comes back to what they both said. You have to manage so many things on your own, especially at the beginning, far from your family and friends. So you realize that you can do a lot by yourself.
Thank you. And what advice would you give to the PhD students and to our researchers, young researchers wishing to do the mobility?
So just do it. I think I am the person and the scientist that I am today, thanks to this experience. As I said, you have to go out of your comfort zone. Don't worry about your English or anything. And I think you also have to be patient and positive with yourself. It's possible that at the beginning, because you are far from everything that you used to know, you start to think, oh, maybe I'm not made for that, which is not true. Just be patient with yourself. It's normal to have difficulties at the beginning to adjust, but after it will go fine. And more on a scientific approach, for the one who wants to apply for PhD or postdoc, that's not something that I see always, but sometimes it is. Do not only look maybe on the reputation of the uni or of the lab. What is important to live nicely your research is to be in a good team and in a friendly team. And that you will probably feel it in interviews, like how you feel it with your supervisors that you are talking with. Think about that too, because if you do not feel nice with your team, it will be very, very hard if you are abroad.
Very good. Thank you to all of you. And now I get the floor to Saïd Barka, and please tell us briefly, 10 minutes maybe, about the Invest Alliance, the goals and aims of.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
So just before starting, hi everyone. So I have a message for our PhD students. So all PhD students, don't be afraid to go to see what you have outside. So just take the bus of adventure, because it will be helpful for you and for your future. And I have like a kind of keyword that, or how to say, sesame case, is the English. If you start to learn English, with English you can be everywhere and you can access to each laboratory. And that's what the message that I am giving to you. So before starting, and I have 5 minutes to present.
No, 10.
You said me before 5. Is it okay? I can have even 30, so I will try to speak slowly. So, as French, we have to be proud regarding alliances or European alliances. Why? Because alliances were initiated by French government in 2018 in what we call the Discours of Sorbonne. So, and at Reims, we are happy to join this alliance, which is called ANVES, which is focusing on the innovation of regional sustainability. So, okay, here you have the consortium of the alliance. We are like 7 universities. We can start from the south to the north. So we have the University of Cordoba from Spain. We have the University of Thessaly from Greece, and the University of Agrobusiness and Rural Development from Plovdiv, and from Bulgaria, the University of Milan Bicocca, Italy, to which belong Maria Luci. And we have the Slovak University of Agriculture of Nitra from Slovakia, and Karelia University of Applied Science from Finland, and of course our university. So these 7 universities form a kind of force task representing approximately at least 140,000 students, and also almost 11,700 administrative and academic staff, and also we have approximately 60 faculties and approximately 450 research labs, centers, and groups. Okay, what are the aims of these alliances? As you can see, we have like we try to do the continuum between education, training, and research. And our objective is to contribute to the development of our regional sustainability by considering different aspects of including environmental, economical, and social aspects in education, research, and also in innovation. And the second objective is to promote digital and technological developments, and the third objective is to reinforce interconnected networks within and beyond Invest partners with different stakeholders. I mean, when I talk about stakeholders, I can sit like student, academic, researcher, industrials, and citizens, and so on. And all those stakeholders are working together at different levels, including through different aspects, including education, pedagogical innovation, and also teaching and learning initiatives, and also the other side, which is research and innovation, including engagement of all staffs, including researchers. So here you have like the whole work packages. So I will try to explain some of them quickly. So the first one is the project management and coordination, like every project. So I will not talk about it because it's kind of common goals. And the second one focus on the quality and the evaluation, especially for education. And indeed, we target the common quality assurance systems and also the quality indicators by putting together like a kind of handbook to quality indicators, and also kind of self-review framework. And the work package number 3 is kind of related to well-being of staff and student, and it's called Student and Staff Journey. And you can see it will target the seamless mobility, student and staff involvement and well-being, and also human resources management and development. And the work package number 4 is more targeting the education, especially the joint programs, living labs, and innovative pedagogy. And in these, we will develop different living labs. Living labs is some kind of structure where we have several stakeholders, including academic, student, citizen, and also local administration. And we have also the joint programs and pedagogy. Then the fifth work package is devoted to the excellence, especially for master and PhD study. Is that what we are talking today? And I will not develop this one because Maria Lushi will develop it better than myself. And I will move directly to the work package number 6, is called Center of Excellence in Research and Development. And these work packages will be coordinated by Rams University. And the goal of this work package, further than establishing the Center of Excellence, is trying to put together within the consortium kind of joint research programs, and also reinforcing innovation and industrial partnership, not only within Invest, but also beyond Invest partners. And also, since we are talking about research, no research is progressing without project. And what we are targeting in this work package is to be together just for submission of international projects. And the last one is common, is dissemination, digitalization, and sustainability. So, and I will be back directly to the work package number 6, which is coordinated by our university. We have 3 objectives. The first one is to establish a kind of collaborative research initiatives, just to pass another step toward the excellence, and also to answer regional sustainability challenges that we are facing. And the second one is foster a kind of innovative philosophy, by building or constructing inclusive, strong, and lasting partnership within and also within Invest partners. And the last one is to create a kind of network, not only within our consortium, which belong to like the 7th university, but also go further than Invest partners. And in these work packages, we will try to connect not only people, but people and infrastructures. I don't know if I have to like a few times just to explain those 2 points. So the first one is just to make all people put together their effort to write some proposals. And just for your information, starting from the next years, there will be some kind of specific calls which will be devoted solely for alliances, which means that if you are not in the alliance, you cannot answer to those calls. So we are happy to join, so we will be happy to join the future calls. And the second one regarding the infrastructures, as you may hear about, Urkatech is kind of a place where we have like several platforms, and what we will try to do is to have like a kind of Urkatech, but at the scale of the alliance, which means that each one of you, like a researcher, if you have like some specific analysis to do, and if we don't have the facility within URCA, you have just to go to this platform, and you will see if we have those platforms within the Invest, and you will have access directly to those people who are working with those facilities. So I don't know if you have any questions, so we'll be happy
Maybe
to.
1 minute, 2 minutes, do you need?
Okay, so in this case, I will go directly to the.
Please.
Okay. So here you have the action plans that I started to talk about, is that to create a kind of hub of existing platforms within Invest partners, and also to establish joint research programs between the different partners. The third task is to identify a structure for the center, but that is more administrative, and also to create a kind of fertile ecosystem to submit European projects, and also to develop a strategy to increase attractiveness and visibility by applying on the lobbying and networking. And finally, to develop innovation partnership with our regional sectors. Thank you.
Thank you to you. Thank you. It was very interesting and about Invest. And now I will get the floor to our guest from Italy, Milano Bicocca, Maria Lucia Fresotti. Maria, do you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for being with morning. Thank you too much to being with us today. And please tell us about the structure of your doctoral school and give us details about the mobility of programs for doctoral students at your university. And also about, does your institution offer mobility grants to PhD students, master's degree students? And if so, how long and under what conditions? Please.
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this meeting. And I would like to introduce our doctoral school in Milano Bicocca that we are now partner of the Invest Alliance, as Said were saying before. And I was very interested by listening the scientific presentation and also listening to this roundtable witnesses by early researcher and students. So now we are at a point that if we want to have a new research which is responding to the big challenge of preserving our planet in a general sense, which is going beyond the natural science application, including also the natural science application. This is calling for doctoral formation immediately. So formation to research, but also formation to innovation, formation in an interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary environment, which calls automatically for internationalization. So I hope that Nina will not be too angry at me if I'm not just listing numbers, but I will introduce our school to you, just giving you an idea of what is our idea of being an international PhD school, which include mobility, but include also other actions, so that the students, they're really growing naturally, not in an environment, in a laboratory in Milan or in Reims or in Brussels, but the school, the doctoral school are international. So, but then what is happening outside the laboratory is more complicated to control. So I'm going to share some slide which makes things easier and faster and clearer. So let's see if okay. So just who are we? So we are an interdisciplinary school. Fundamental point, just to approach a new way of formation to research and innovation. So we are containing and working together 19 PhD program. The language is English. There's no other language in the school. And in terms of number, at the moment we have around 1,000 students enrolled, and a faculty board of 620 teachers. This is more or less the different weight of the different discipline by considering, for instance, the recent 300 position enrolled. So you see that we have a large green part on the hard sciences, so natural science, but also informatics, mathematics, physics, so medical science, soft science, qualitative sciences, so humanities in a general sense, and then economy and law. These are the title and the discipline of the courses. So as you can see, from geology to biotechnology, education, urban studies, legal science, physics and astronomy. So disciplinary course, the medical science, the neuroscience, translational medicine, economics, statistics, econometrics, business for society. But recently, we have started also to activate programs in which we are going to make a formation around a theme, a challenge. So just move the PhD program to a multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary subject where, of course, any candidate is concentrating on top research on a specific topic, but overall the course contain a number of students which are approaching the same topic with a different scientific point of view. So starting to speak among discipline from the very beginning. So you see the intangible cultural heritage or the blue economy, the new public administration that in Italy is quite a subject, and public health. Public health in terms of the medical approach, the statistical approach, the social approach. So big challenges of our society. And we were able to activate this program that you see in red on the right, thanks to the recent funding of Next EU Generation from the European Community. So our priorities, which are shared in the Alliance, is that we want to develop a high standard human capital, and these to make the top professional people of tomorrow. We have to go through education, research, and innovation. All these cannot be done on a regional scale. Example can be regional, but the environment should be international. So challenges are global at this time. And the formation of doctors of research should take care and consider it. So this is the way to concretize the innovative ideas of students for the big challenge of today and tomorrow, and at the same time is offering them opportunity for employment at top level, not only in the academy, but also in companies, in industries. So now research and innovation are going together. Not all the scientific themes have the same involvement, but in any case, many companies now they have a research section and laboratories which are absolutely top level. So, which are the international aspects that we are living every day in Bicocca? So we declinate this. We have 5 at the moment PhD programs which are in partnership with foreign universities. On a broad spreading sense, then we have normally activating co-tutelle. Co-tutelle is the natural end of a common research project where the PhD student has two supervisors. One maybe in Bicocca, not necessarily. In Bicocca, we require that the students, they have a tutor, which is a mentor. But in terms of supervision, we are open even to have two external foreign supervisors. Normally, one is from Bicocca in Milan, but the other one, in most of the cases, is a foreign researcher which is cooperating in a project which is activated or is already activated in our university or is activated thanks to the doctoral research. Then we have, as we have, and we heard before, we have now 8 Marie Curie running in 8 PhD program. We have the teacher board, which contain 20% of foreign researcher, which are part of our courses. This year, we have reached 17% of foreign students, and one of the easiest case is mobility. And mobility, our numbers are telling that almost 50% of our PhD students, they are spending at least 3 months abroad. It's a normal process. And for answering to the question of how our university is covering the expenses, we have a national regulation on this, that Italian PhD going abroad, their salary is increased by 50% for the time that they are abroad. And the different universities in the country, they can decide how many months to cover as expenses, and Bicocca is covering up to 1 year of this extra 50% of the scholarship. So the total amount of money is variable because it depends on the number of the students that we have enrolled in this in that specific academic year. So trying already at home to have a kind of international atmosphere, which is and this, I mean, an implicit requisite when we are doing research on this theme. And I want to underline that it's also very important to have a look to innovation while growing on research. So for us in Bicocca, maybe because we are in Milan, Lombardy, there is also a regional situation which makes it easy. But let's say that we have really a high percentage of our PhD project within the different programs, which is about 40%, where companies are somehow involved. They might host PhD, they might sponsor the PhD, they might have also people working in the company having a PhD with us. So all the possible declinations, so that the training of our doctoral students is not only academic, and also transfer of technology might be a real hint to their formation. And this company should not be necessarily in the country. We also have contact. Of course, there are not as many as, but we are also interacting and working together with companies which are in other countries. Which are the results of this kind of training? The results are that, as you see, our average time for employment of almost 98% of doctors, it's 2.5 months. And another important point is that the public sector, so the university, is one possibility for career, so the academic career. But our doctors, they are finding a very good job also in the private sector. And this is another way of looking forward, because formation has to be open, and universities have really to interact with the economic and social reality, regional, but I would say regional at a European scale. So for this reason, for us, it's so important to be part of this alliance so that we can expand and start to share in a natural way a common joint formation. So I stop here, and if there are any questions, I'm willing to answer, comment.
Thank you very much, Maria Lucci. It was very interesting about your doctoral school. How many PhD students do you have in your doctoral school?
Can you repeat it?
How many doctoral PhD students do you have in your doctoral school? 1,000?
As I said, 1,070 are enrolled, 74 to be precise. 1,074 are enrolled at present.
Okay. So I think that the time is running. We don't have so many time, but I will give the floor to our audience. Maybe you have questions. Don't hesitate to answer to our speakers in English, but maybe also in French. Don't hesitate, please. The floor is yours. Anybody? You are not interested by the mobility? No?
It's maybe lunchtime as well. Well, I think anyway we can have as well the time during the lunch to actually ask the questions. Maybe one, okay?
Hello, and thank you all for your presentations. And other than the international programs like the Marie Curie program or the COTITEL, what are the other possibilities for international mobility for someone who is enrolled like me in the Eureka University? Like, what are the other possibilities?
You mean incoming? So to come to Milano Bicocca?
Yeah, maybe, or like any other international doctoral school, etc. It's a question for all.
Let's say that for us, the doctoral school is international. So all our students, they just have to choose when they want to leave, and automatically their scholarship is increasing by 50%, and the university is covering it. So they don't need any special program. So for us, it's fully covered, the mobility, up to 1 year. But they can also ask for more. And then it's rarer that they ask to stay abroad more than 1 year. But we consider each case. So we don't have a specific program. Of course, they can increase their budget by applying to all the Erasmus and Erasmus Plus project. But let's say the basis is really to give the perspective that to go abroad, you don't have to join anything. It's part of your formation. I don't know if I'm clear enough. So you would like to go to another university in Europe, in the United States, then you just speak with your teacher board. And the point is not the money, it's not the program. The point is the quality of the research. So the teacher board is going to say, where are you going to work? With whom are you going to work? And what are you going to do? And once that the research has been approved, then automatically your scholarship increase, one student scholarship increase. So it's quite common let's say that going 3 months abroad, it's really the less international step that you can do. Because generally when you have a supervisor that is from Helsinki, then it's supposed to go there and see, for instance, the physics, our PhD student in physics, we have Genève, the CERN is really 1 hour and a half by train. So international aspect of the PhD program, it should be really something to develop on my point of view at our alliance scale. So how much are we able to homogenize and to make network as a group of universities that want to work together?
Thank you, Maria. Luce, and maybe you, Julian, you want to say something about?
Yes, I can tell you, for example, as a PhD student, I got the opportunity to apply to the Mobilité.1. That is a program for mobilities from the JURCA, I think organized by the International Relations Office. And in my case, I did a 3-month mobility to Germany. And well, it was financed by this program. So yes, as a PhD student, we have this opportunity with the university.
But also we have, so that it's not called with another name. You know what I mean? If you were in Bicocca, you would have gotten the same amount of money without making any application, only talking with the teacher board. It's just a different administrative way of doing things. It's exactly the same. I think all European university, they have money for doctoral mobility. So it's the way you make the application. So we are not going to the international offices within the doctoral school, this money, which is not better or worse. This is just an administrative way of doing this. And the point is that we could think is how much money is given on top of the scholarship by the different universities.
Thank you, Maria Luce.
This is an interesting question. Not how, but how much.
We'll have more time one day, the opportunity to speak about this more and more. But Helen, I don't know, do you have one minute? So it's...
No, I think we have to close it now, the panel discussion. I'm very sorry, but all the questions can be asked as well during the lunchtime. So thank you very much to all to give us the testimony and as well the openness and the possibilities we see in Invest. Please come applause.